Hey guys, this is Vanguard Calamity, and I'm back for the Division Part 2 of the defense build. And right now, I'm just gonna let this kind of pretty much play through, and this is just like background noise and background video to watch as I talk about the build in and of its entirety. This build is a good build. Like, I do enjoy using it very much, even in PvP. Like, later on in the video, you'll see me like actually playing against other players and everything like that, and I do pretty decent damage. Like, I'm consistent, but a huge problem that this build has is that, of course, you're really slow when you have your shield out, which is annoying because then players like will strafe behind you. And right now, since the meta is really reliant on hipfire, and you have to be in constant hipfire for people to actually deal damage to you, and that's just the way people play now, you're gonna get kind of ripped apart if there's too many players. If you're outnumbered, you're not gonna win in most case scenarios. The shield doesn't give you enough like leeway to give you time to like spin around and lock onto one person, then quickly spin around and lock onto another person, and then like hold your own against them. So, but in a 1v1 scenario, and it's really hard to lose with this build. Like, it is extremely hard to lose, and if you get caught off guard, you spin around, you put your shield right in front of them. I have a 10 sensitivity, so like I can spin on a dime pretty much, and I'll spin, face them, and absolutely just start melting them through. But because of the way the meta is right now, and up until like 1.6, if they do change anything, which I'm gonna talk about in my next video, and I'm gonna be talking about like what my opinion is, and like how it does for me as a player that's pretty good in both the PvE scene and the PvP scene. Like, I do well in both. Like, I am like a rank 80 on like one of my characters, because I do go rogue a lot. I do have the tendency to go rogue. If I do see somebody alone, I'll look around, see if there's anyone around, and then just kill them, because that's the way the Dark Zone is, and that's just how it's always been. Like, even when I first started playing, when I first entered the Dark Zone, any player will tell you the first time they enter a Dark Zone, and they're not like the beta players, going in there was probably the scariest thing on the planet. Like, just walking in, and then all of a sudden you seeing players like look at you and then aim down scopes, and then they can legitly melt you and kill you. Yeah, that's like heart-wrenching. It gets your blood pressure up, and it's exciting. And I do like that excitement, but build diversity right now is really bad. Like, building anything that's not Alpha Bridge, Predator Mark, and unless you're super tanky, in some case scenarios, that's when other builds become viable. But if you're super tanky, and most weapons don't have the perks enough to allow you to be both tanky and damage focused at the same time, so you won't be able to kill people as fast. And the only thing you're really doing is just stalling out until more players come to aid you and assisting you for taking down players. So once they do add build diversity, I think this game will do a lot better. But up until then, this build is about like a 6, a 7, depending on the team you have. If you have a team that's really like supportive, and they have like not just Alpha Bridge, but like Predmark, Reclaimer, Hunter's Faith, and among other things, this build really does shine in a team-based like scenario, because you become that wall that people can't walk past. And if they do, your team's gonna have ample chance to take them down while you turn, and then you start focusing fire. And if you have the right perks, you're gonna be able to just melt through them, like completely and absolutely just destroy them like in a second's notice as you all focus fire that one person. But that can be said about any build. But this one is really good at just like holding that line though. And and if any skirmishes, especially like big team ones, like 4v4s, just before, most times, like unless you guys are already like packed together like a bunch of animals, and which is the Dark Zone right now, is everybody gets packed into like a ball of just hip firing, which is really frustrating. I'll talk more about it in my next video about like, you know, what I would like to be seen and changed from an average player's perspective, not a person that's deep into PvP nor the deep into PvE. And I put like that average player mentality into it, because most people who are right now arguing about it are players that have either been playing mostly PvE, and then they really desire to have that PvE function inside the Dark Zone, which I would say is okay, but I don't think it's necessary. Or people who are just like, who know the tricks and everything like that know how to hip fire like out of everything. They can use a pecan, and then they can like max out their armor to like 520 toughness or 500k toughness, and then just walk around with a pecan and then just start melting people. Like that is above average players. Like, that is not like your average player being able to do that. Most average players will normally actually aim down scope, and then if people get too close, then they'll just start hip firing for no reason, waving their gun. Heck, even I do it. But from an average player's perspective, there are going to be some change. I hope they do change it for us not just the hype end people and the low end people who are either super good at it and super bad at it. But aside from that, the Dark Zone, this build does pretty well, and I do enjoy using it because it is different and I can protect my teammates pretty well. I do get shredded at most times because, you know, I do have like a low amount of armor or toughness in these builds because I want to have as much DPS as I can so I can help melt with my team. But if I had like a better team or anything like that, because most of the time I pick up randoms and I join them, this build does fairly well, and I can do pretty well on my own. But in the PvE, this build does even better. Like with the max out damage build I had on earlier in my first video, you can pretty much rip through any type of ad that comes your way in a few seconds. Like you can just look at something and they will just immediately start dying, and it's insane the amount of damage you can do. I think you can do more damage than mostly any build in the game actually right now, as far as the PvE scene goes. Mostly because of the fact that if you have enough enemy armor damage, elite damage, you're doing upwards of about like 200% actual damage to them. So like doing like 800k or 80k a shot, which is pretty much like one-shot range for them. Unless you have like a one-shot sniper build, then you can pretty much take them out faster. But again, you don't have that shield, and you can also play a little bit closer. So that's what I like. That's my comfort, is playing closer like a real shooter should. Even though this game is supposed to be like a tactical, like base shooter where you're supposed to like hide behind cover and get some sort of bonuses and stuff like that, and play behind walls and not really run up on people. Unless they change the way the game like just generally functions, you're never gonna see that much anymore. Most people will try to face tank. Even NPCs that are a lot stronger than them, they'll just face tank, and then if they don't win, they'll complain about it. They'll get dropped to the ground and die. But with this build, you can actually you're allowed to do that, because when NPCs shoot your shield, it's actually pretty low up until you die. Like unless you have enough NPCs to shoot you on the side as well as shoot you from the front, you're never really gonna die from NPCs. And I think I've only been downed like completely once in my entire time of playing it. But other than that, I do like this build. Like again, I really do enjoy this build, and I think other people will enjoy the build too, especially if they start making really drastic changes to the PvP scene, or changing the mechanics of how certain talents work in like both the PvE and PvP. For the most part, you'll have enough toughness in scenarios when you're fighting not fighting players, but fighting NPCs. You'll have enough toughness just because that shield, I think, adds to your toughness. Having like a 700k shield is pretty much added health, and if they can't rip through like 500k health for an NPC, which they'll never do, unless they're like flanking your sides and they're attacking your sides, but they're never that tactical in most case scenarios. But unless you fight like some sort of NPC like a hunter, unless hunters are actually added into this game where they can actually throw down like turrets, or somehow like rip through your shield faster, or there's another mechanical way to like just completely destroy certain mechanisms, the shield build is probably the best PvP, or not PvP, but PvE build in the game. And reason being is because, of course, you have that shield, you're going to do a lot of damage, and most of the time you have that, also the not the exotic damage, but the elite resistance, which is about 15%, does help for taking down, like not taking down, but tanking ads attacking you from the sides. And that's pretty much it. I'm going to let the rest of the video play and show you guys like how much this build pretty much does work in every case scenarios. I'm not that good at it because I suck at strafing, but the thing is, I did have fun because it was different. Like having a different build outside of Apple Bridge and Predator Mark, it makes the game pretty stale, and then it goes through the syndrome of like the only reason I'm going to Dark Zone is just to kill people, get some loot randomly, and if I get something that's better than the ones I'm currently using, then I guess I'll just throw my old ones away and then put use these new ones. But even then, I don't even usually extract too much stuff. I usually pick up purples just to fill up my stash, so then people pick it up. But having a shield build and playing with other people, it's pretty funny, because most people do get pretty upset when they see a shield build, and it's pretty fun. So yeah, this is Fallen Calamity again. Come again for tomorrow, because I will be doing another video on how I feel about the Dark Zone right now. I'll be doing a bigger in-depth video, because I'll be actually talking about it and my own opinion as far as like what they should change, what they should maybe add into it. And also be doing one on Destiny, because also that game gets pretty stale as well, and they both as looter shooter games, like which is a genre that they're going for, they're both kind of failing in key aspects that make the game fun, and that's what really upsets me, because I do like both games. I do enjoy Destiny, and I do enjoy Division, but they have dry spells. They will get very tiresome and they'll get very boring quickly unless you find something to do, and in most case scenarios when you do find something to do, it's pretty annoying and pretty tedious, and it gets pretty unfun really quickly. Unless you find something new or something like that, and then everybody finds that new build or something, or that new setup that's pretty cheese to get like more loot in like Destiny or like in Division when they had the fire turret and then they got fixed. But up until then, once they do find some way to actually bring some more nuance and build diversity and stuff like that, this game will still have those dry spells, but I'll talk about that more later. But otherwise, I'll let the video play. There's not that many minutes through, and I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Like, this is a pretty exciting thing to do. I'm gonna be doing these a little bit more daily, or at least bi-daily, like a day. I'll take like a day break and then come back to it. But this week I'm gonna be doing like day by day, just to catch up on the missing videos I haven't been doing, because I was trying to think of some things to talk about, and I did want to talk about, since right now the 1.6 patch is a big thing for Destiny, and there's another patch coming up or not Destiny, but for Division they're coming up with a big patch, and then for Destiny, since there's really nothing coming up for that, where everybody's kind of hoping for something new to come out soon. And if nothing comes up for Destiny, I'll be talking more about Division or any other game I find to be a big interest, or that I can record and talk about. So again, I'm sorry, I think I said goodbye like a couple minutes ago, but again, bye. I hope you guys have a good day, and you guys have a fun one. I had really fun, like I actually had really like huge amount of fun playing this game, and this game is like one of my favorites. But it does have those dry spells, and I hope they do somehow fix it. I'll see you guys later. You guys have a great one.
Why is this dude? There's fucking rogues right in front of you, man. We went accidental.